hurricane events, but it's also about a place to live. This is where we live. And there's been a couple of articles in the paper recently which really were revealing about quality of life things. And I hear people say, we don't even care about how flower beds look. We're interested in does everything infrastructure level. Lots of people care about how flower beds look and the amenities that you have in a community. And this is part of the reason we probably should care, because in some of these articles that came out, when we started digging into St. Mary Parish, we came across a statistic that it had what is known as out-migration. And I know that Senator Allain ran on that platform, and one of his goals was to decrease our population loss. In the last 12 years, we've lost about 6,000 residents. And if we set our goal now, we could actually possibly increase that 6,000 back, and maybe even increase it. So while the state of Louisiana had increased by 1% and the U.S. by 7.7%, St. Mary was down by 12%. So our goal moving forward is not to get stuck on resilience, because hopefully we get that addressed well, is to start saying, what can we do? Every meeting we put this up. We put up a queue, like, what's this queue about? It's all these projects that we keep talking about. And maybe we're responsible for it, maybe you're responsible, or maybe everybody's responsible for it, or maybe you want it, or maybe you don't want it. But things like getting Highway 182 repaved, well, that's probably coming, but they're going to have a handicap accessible sidewalk. We learned that that's a separate request, and I don't know if that request for them, but that's a pretty important one based on the number of people that you see walking up and down here, and they don't always have the best, again, turning lanes and crosswalks. The Ship Shoal Lighthouse, I think, has until 2025 to get here, because 2025 is like a few months away, and everything you read about it says Berwick. But we need to get it if we're going to get it. Otherwise, they might say somewhere else. And if the plan for the Lighthouse Park is to have those two lighthouses, it'd be nice to get it. The restaurant on the lake, we walked through that project a couple of years back, and it was kind of fizzled. The wellness center, that's been on there for about 5 or 6 years. Because we need swimming in our area, and we need for our elderly aqua therapy here in our community recreation gym, the fitness, labor and delivery. So glad Angelina is here to talk about that all in a little bit, possibly, because she's going to share some information. This is Carillion Tower, our bells don't work. Are we using that park efficiently? Mr. Charlie painting and repair, it's going to go to the National Historic Registry. We love it. Community block development grants, those might be coming out, especially now we might get a higher priority. Is there such a thing as a downtown parking garage possible? They just lit up the bridge in New Orleans while I'm not here. Completion of Morgan City hiking trails. They're kind of like trails to nowhere sometimes, where you get and it stops. You get and it stops. There might be plans. There was a plumbing covering any drainage ditch for mosquito abatement. Turf, athletic and recreation fields. As recently as 2 weeks ago, we had a player break his leg on a soppy, wet field. We don't have any turf fields that I know of in St. Mary. An after 5 venue, but performance and dancing, besides pulling up an 18-wheeler flatbed on the Friday night. Is there anything that we can do within downtown market upgrade? These are not my priorities, they might be our community priorities, it's up to you. But we thought we'd talk about funding sources today, because you gotta have money to do any of that stuff. So we know grants exist, state, federal, and local funds exist, but that means you're willing to tax yourself, and philanthropic requests. So we thought we would look at grants. Nobody probably does it any better than $15 million on average every year to secure funds to keep it running. They do an excellent job. Some of the rest of us write grants, municipalities, parish, nonprofits all write grants. And here's some of the ones we've written. Here's some of the ones that could be available after the President's declaration. Hazard mitigation, to where you mitigate measures during recovery periods to reduce the overall risk of population and structures from the future. They don't want to keep funding us just replacing everything again and again. And then once again, the community block development plans are prioritized when you have a declaration. So we thought we'd start with state funding, and Laura and I, as I said, had a conversation about this earlier. And it took me a while to understand because the newspaper ran an article. It ran an article on projects and whether St. Mary got its fair share. House Bill 1 is just ordinary operating. House Bill 2 is capital outlay, where you can use cash and borrowing for drafting a 5-year plan, and then there's sometimes surplus funds. And it's going to be a tight year, so if we work together, maybe we can get some things done. But this was what was in the Advocate that really spurred this conversation. Look at St. Mary. St. Mary's in the green. St. Mary's in the green. It says we got $20 to $40 for every resident in St. Mary Parish. But some of our surrounding ones got $20 or less per capita. These are on pet projects, all those ones that kind of could contribute nicely to your quality of life. St. Mary came out well. And when I asked Laura, she said, probably because he was on the budget committee.
Yeah. You know, when we look at the budget, when we go into session, each senator, each representative gets a certain amount of money that they can bring home. They get an allotment, per se. St. Mary did extremely well. Each senator I know was given about $700,000 to $800,000 to bring home. Robert in his first year brought home $1.4 million. It was amazing. Some of that was just sheer luck. Some of that was talent. You know, some of that was talent. I'll give it. You know, we did extremely well. And it was a combination of what you said, all three. When I say the 1.4. It was a combination of HB1, which is the general budget. It was a combination of HB2, which is capital outlay. And then we had some money in the surplus, which is member amendments that we can go in and pull from. And the municipalities did decent. You know, we tried to bring home what we could. You know, we'll continue to do that. As far as this coming year, because it's a fiscal year only session, so this spring, in April, when we go in, all we'll be dealing with is fiscal, money issues, taxing. And I'm sure y'all read in the paper that we're probably gonna drop off the 4.5 cent sales tax. The senator has said nobody in Baton Rouge has an appetite to renew it. You know, it was meant to be temporary. And I think it's gonna drop off. When that drops off, it's gonna decimate our general fund. So they are looking right now on the money committees to see how they can make up the funds. And a lot of that is probably tax breaks that we give to industries that they're gonna look at, whether it's the film industry or the tax breaks we give to oil and gas or whatever. I mean, that's above my pay grade. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but they're gonna, and then the rest will come from cuts from different agencies. I know the governor has asked that the agencies take a really hard look at their budgets and go from there. And then we'll see what is available for 1, 2, and whatever the supplemental is gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be as generous as it was last year, you know? But there's always money. We have a way of finding money, somehow, some way.
Y'all must have, for us to be in the green, you must have, yeah.
You know, we'll have capital outlay. It's not like it's gonna be zero. We'll have a supplemental bill. It's not gonna be zero, and of course, we'll have HB1, you know, so.
We're gonna try and do a better job of getting our needs to the senator, or to the electorate. And we're gonna cover that in just a minute. Yes, sir.
I wanna echo what she said, and I wanna tell them how much I appreciate. We got more money this year in Robert's first year than we've ever got in the past combined. It really was amazing what he did for us, and we appreciate it.
We keep those funding requests coming. Just not putting them up here in a project. Maybe we can do better. We're going to see some examples of that in just a minute.
And Monica, I just wanted to say, capital outlay is in the process now where NGOs, which are non-governmental entities like you, or our government entities have a November 1st deadline to submit for capital outlay. All funding matters, considering we're going in, and I don't know the date yet, April, just give them to us ahead of time. We kind of would like them, want to know if you're gonna, if y'all have an ask. New year, let us know so we can have a game plan going in.
All right, so what we're gonna cover now are just some samples, like who can ask for this, because with the hospital service district here today, in their presentation before AIC, they mentioned because there's a millage possible, that they may have some match funds for future asking when they have some money to match, and it comes usually from a millage. So who can ask? Hospital Service District can ask, Tourist Commission, municipalities, levee districts, recreation, education, and entities of recreation and education, and nonprofits. And just to show you, because we spent a little time, once we saw that, we wondered like what kind of projects, like Hospital Service District in Liberia. This was in the last ask. They actually got 3.5 million in priority 1 and 3.6 million in priority 5 for medical, surgical, inpatient rooms, planning, construction, and equipment. That was their ask, and that was what they were funding. And Laura, would you explain too what priority 1 and 5 is, because I had to get that.
Priority 1 is cash on hand. So that is guaranteed your project is gonna be done. We have cash to pay for your project. Priority 5 is bonding out. It's kind of like in the holding mode, second in line. Your goal is to move priority 5 to priority 1. That's our goal. So when we put it in capital outlay, you're probably gonna start with the priority 5. We have other priorities, but they don't count. But these are the two most important. You want it in priority 5 or priority 1. Priority 1 is you got it.
So we're going to go very quickly now, just over a few other examples. In Lafourche, replacement of Canal Boulevard, construction of pedestrian bike trail, planning and construction, priority 1 and priority 5. And then another category, capital outlay savings account. I guess that's just one that's everyone.
I'm sorry, Monica, I should have probably told you, capital outlay savings account is a new fund that we have, and that is cash too. That is like a savings account, you have your own bank, and you know, we kind of, they did that under Brett. And so that's extra cash.
Thank you. Sports complex planning and construction. I know some of your kids, my kids, they probably practice or play over in neighboring parishes and possibly some turf fields. So I'm just bringing that out because it's an ask, it's a possible ask. This one kind of threw me, only because it said Atchafalaya swamp base, and of course I wanted to look, and it seemed to have had a lot of money. So I wanted to know what it was. It's actually the Boy Scouts. They're up in St. Martin Parish, and even when fully funded, it's going to be beautiful. You get to take a week-long Boy Scout trip. They still have to have some money. Like it says here, this was part of that. So I didn't know how much they have to raise $795 per person. And you have to know how to swim before you can even go on one of these trips. So that thing about swimming that we posted over there about historically how Morgan City is working on swimming in a community surrounded by water. Everybody should learn to swim here. That's why we always keep coming back to these needs that we have here in Morgan City. So here's a priority, it's funded, we just need to pass. Highway 182 resurfacing, we're pleased to report that, Laura should be reporting that funding that was awarded to St. Mary. Please, thank you. Hospital Service District number 1 in St. Mary, priority 1, thank you. Berwick, I think the mayor said thank you before we got to this slide. And then this is the slide Laura's gonna have to totally explain because she was talking faster than I could write.
Okay, well, LGAP stands for Local Government Assistance Program. That's for municipal entities to go in and ask for meters, water meters, infrastructure needs. That's for local government. Capital outlay is what we spoke about, is the needs of the parish or the cities or even NGOs. QUEF is Community Water Enrichment Fund. That's water projects, water meters, stuff like that, sewer, stuff like that. Community block grants, that's under the Office of Community Development. Those are just grants that they give out depending, I mean, they give out a myriad of them. I can't even tell you how many you see. And they do block grants now because they have a big window. Block grants have they could say roads, and it covers everything under roads. So the title is wide open, so they can put a lot of stuff under the umbrella. So we start doing, the state does a lot of block grants.
Well, I'm just gonna go over the process. In other words, it's not Senator Allain's job to detail the project.
No, it's not our job.
So do a budget, duration, goals and objectives, because he's gotta take whatever it is and go before the legislative committee. That's his role. And then he has to also kind of look at priority setting. So stakeholder interest and influence. And it's influence in, like, you might have the world's best idea, but if you don't have a little consensus among people, it's just a good idea. That's all it is. So you gotta go out and you gotta share it with people in the community, because it's the community project. It's not a person's project that gets funded, it's the community. So we gotta have engagement in the process, data, demographics, and tying it to your needs. And then the one that keeps coming back is that skin in the game. And that's what I think with hospital service districts. If you've got some skin in the game, you can always present a better case. But we raised this much, can the senator do this? And then it says we're all in this together to get this project complete.
Yeah, capital outlay requires a 25% match. And I have to say, all my entities in St. Mary Parish, they know this like the back of their hand. They know exactly what the deadlines are. They don't miss. They're good. I'm going to give it to from the parish going down to the cities.
And sometimes we love the infrastructure, but we want those other quality of life. And I guess maybe that's a conversation with our council people and our mayors and our leaders. Because those quality of life factors, like walkable Highway 182, besides the potholes filled right here in front of our emergency building. So maybe that's a conversation there. All right, so that's all the talking I'm going to do for a while. So that's what we wanted to share today. We wanted to share our movement forward on resilience, and we wanted to share the process, and we wanted to go through those projects, because we spent a lot of time, once that green came out for St. Mary in that map, we spent a lot of time going in and saying, well, this is what our parish is doing. Why aren't we bringing 6,000 people in? If we are so good and we're all happy with what we're getting, why are these other places growing and we're not? Because maybe it is some of those things like turf fields or wellness, swimming pools. Maybe it's completion of bike trails. Maybe it's walkable sidewalks. What is it that makes your community good? That venue that you can just go set up on and you can host your event. You don't have to pull in the 18-wheeler. So, yes, sir, before we leave this?
Yes. To me, the elephant in the room is insurance. You lost those 6,000 people that left. I bet a big percentage of them left because of insurance.
And if we can improve our resilience,
I don't see that anywhere up here.
No, but resilience is about what happened last week.
Yeah.
And coming back.
Do
and-
all these wonderful things, and the population
Right.
keeps leaving.
Right.
We
We're
don't
going to
have a
have
tax
a member
base
of
to
the
support it.
insurance commission. We've already called the state office on our committee. We've already said, we need you as one of those stakeholders at the table, because we're not doing this because we feel like it's for fun. We want it because we want our insurance rates to go down. And we want someone measuring it. The insurance commissioner in the paper 2 days ago said, we think they did better because of the way they rebuilt in Terrebonne. Think about that. We think. You don't know? You spent all that money, you don't know?
You know, the thing is.
A
for me
resilience
is-
lab could track that for you and say, look, all these homeowners, 75%, they would tell you the best materials to rebuild with. We're just rebuilding. We find somebody on the street, come fix my roof. I'll call the one we always call, come fix my roof. Are we getting up there and inspecting it? We're not. We need all those components. We need all this, and we've invited the insurance commissioner, and he is sending a person to integrate on that committee.
Yeah.
So when they call for you to attend, please make sure you attend.
So,
And we-
you know, but for me, what I look at it on a personal level is the $25,000 cost to replace my roof, $2,000 for a fence, $2,000 for a floor. The insurance guy is gonna give me $10,000 for the roof, $2,000 for the fence, $2,000 for the floor. I've got a $9,100 deductible up from $4,000.
Right, me
Unbelievable.
too. And you can't solve that, but who's going to buy your house? So because they can't afford the insurance. So what we need to do is look at what happened and go back and say, what was the problem? And let's see how we can fix it. Because, I mean, one issue a lot of people had was flooding.
Yeah.
That had never happened before. Well, we can go back and look and
But
complain
we
and
never
say,
had flooding.
what do you,
No, because you look up flooding in the dictionary, it's the rise of a wall.
well, whatever it was, people got water in their houses.
And I had a big.
Whatever it was, we can't solve that problem right now, Bryce. Whatever it was, you're right. And those people are angry because they got water in their houses, whichever way it came. But we can't solve that problem. But what we can do is that problem then, what we can do is look at what happened and try and see how can we fix that. Because if we can't fix that, then how can somebody on Fillmore in my neighborhood, how can you expect somebody to buy that house that flooded out? Or I'm the person who lives on that street and I have to go and fix my house back and I'm worried about the next time it rains. And that's not a criticism on anything that happened. We know that was a problem that we need to look at now and we need to see how can we fix that. There are people who can come in and look at all these problems and say, this is what you can do. That's all we're doing. That's what the Resilience Lab is
See the word
about.
Insurance in there, so.
And I
Right.
think what he's saying is that we're losing small businesses now.
Yeah, we
We
are.
don't have time to wait for
We-
somebody to come in.
It's
Our
not-
insurance rates
We are.
needs to be addressed yesterday.
But you can't change that today.
We have to change
We-
it, or we're gonna lose our small businesses. They're the ones that suffer.
We called Temple. Temple's office is gonna be a part
Yeah,
of this.
that's why we have these meetings, for people to come. That's what it's about. And that's why we want people on on here for that Resilience Lab organization.
And Senator Allain is on the insurance committee. So they are working it. It's just, it wasn't a problem that we got to in a day and it won't be solved in a day. It's hard to make private insurance companies do what we want them to do, which is lower rates and come to
Right.
business in Louisiana.
But
You know,
we've
they're
applied.
for-profit companies and you can't make for-profit companies do anything.
And
You
our
know, you
intent-
can only entice them.
Our intent is to bring it all the way down to the residence level, the business level, the one that has to go back to work. Because if it's not getting all the way down there to where I know the roof that I'm getting replaced is not fortified and it's not gonna qualify, there's no use in replacing it right now. It is better, to think about migrating out when you can't get the expertise down all the way to the residence level. That's why, like, the neighborhood signs are up now. Every neighborhood is important. You've indicated certain neighborhoods in Berwick that you want included in any grant writing that we do, and we've got a grant in right now that if we got it funded, is all centered on resilience, and we won't know for a couple months. I don't know if that one will work, but Apton's ready to write as the outcome of this thing, so we're all on the same page. We just gotta keep pushing, I guess, and everybody in
You
here
do know
pushes.
the Department of Insurance has a lottery. I think the deadline's 5 o'clock today.
For the fortified roofs,
And,
yeah.
Yeah,
Greg Garisco showed everybody how to enter the portal, how
yeah.
to put their
It's
stuff
a
in.
$10,000 grant. I think they're picking 300 people. It's along coastal Louisiana. They're picking each person, as long as you meet the requirements, gets $10,000 for their roof or to fortify their roofs.
Mhm.
It's a lottery.
Yeah,
It's a grant.
so that's part, but in our area, we're gonna be focusing on everybody fortifying, so anyway. That's all we wanted to bring to your attention, except we'll put ourselves last, just for your update on the NEAR and Marine Coastal High School, because now we want to give you the opportunities, and we want to share. We're going to start with Ms. Brocato, who's here from the Hospital Service District number 2.
Hi, everyone. I'm Angelina Brocato. I am a representative of Hospital Service District number 2, and I thank you very much, Monica, for giving me a call this week, reaching out and making this happen. I'm just going to do what I called a scratch the surface sort of introduction to what we're up to. We as your Hospital Service District are going to have a 9 mil proposition on your December 7th ballot. That will serve for the hospital maintenance purposes. Now, as you guys know, our hospital was built in the early 1980s, and it was built when our area was really booming, and we have a very large facility there that needs our help. Just as much as this community needs that hospital, our hospital really needs us right now to step up and have the skin in the game that you referred to. We haven't had a millage, and at this time it was 9 mills as well, but since 1995 was the last time we voted on it, and we let it roll off in the early 2000s when we didn't think that we needed it any longer. We were in a good relationship with LifePoint, and LifePoint was going to be taking over maintenance of the facility. So we didn't need to assess the tax any longer, and now we're at a point where we do need that. Our hospital here is the only hospital in the entire state of Louisiana that does not benefit from a millage, rural hospital, coalition, or critical access designation. And so you mentioned the wellness center and what Franklin and Bayou Bend has to offer. Some of that is because they have over 13 mills that their community pays in. So you have, when a community has skin in the game and is paying toward the hospital and its maintenance, and extra services that can be provided, then you potentially can have something like a wellness center, which is incredibly important for quality of life, but also truly for general health and wellness when you have exercise capacity, such as swimming, that our area really, really needs. So you also mentioned the match money. The millage also, in addition to paying for the maintenance on the facility, which I kind of overstepped. Let me say one more thing here that is incredibly important. I've already attended several city council meetings and met with other civic and community organizations on behalf of the HSD, and it is very surprising how many people, both lay people and people in civic and community leadership, don't realize that we as a community own that building. It is ours. We own it. We lease it to Oxford St. Mary. They have, in their lease agreement that we oversee, they do have a certain amount that they're required to spend on maintenance, which they have gone above and beyond multiple times over because the hospital is in such dire need. But now we do need this millage if we're going to take care of this very large facility that we, as individuals, as a community, own ourselves. We are the leaseholders. We have to pay for this. So you will see this on your ballot. I'm just giving you this, again, scratch the surface level of information. If you guys would like, with your civic community organization, would like a presentation for the people that you are working with or working for, please let us know. We're happy to do that. We've begun a very vigorous online social media campaign because that's where a lot of people get their information. We have high production value videos that we've already shot. They're ready to start rolling out. Our website launched yesterday. It's hospital2024.com. I have these handouts that were on your chair. I'm not going to hit every single topic. It's there for you to look through. We are going to be meeting with, East St. Mary municipalities at their city council meetings. We'll be attending those. We presented to AIC recently, and we have our own luncheon scheduled today where we're going to be presenting to local leadership as well. We're always open to your questions. Again, I'm trying to keep it nice and tight because you guys have a hefty agenda, and we have our next meeting too for HSD. Mayor Duval.
How far are your boundaries going to go in the taxation from Amelia to Calumet?
That's exactly right. That's what HSD number 2 covers. So from Amelia to the Calumet cut. And this is something that directly benefits every single person here in East St. Mary. If we're talking, you mentioned labor delivery, pediatrics. I'll just quickly touch on that. Our hospital has so many grave physical maintenance needs that need to be met here and now without a moment's hesitation that we hope to get there. Because the other element of this millage The other thing it will provide for is, we have a very narrow scope within how we can spend our money as an HSD. So that money that does come in when this passes goes to HSD. It does not go to Auctioneer St. Mary. It comes to the HSD number 2. We then agree or disagree on how this money is going to be spent. We have the say. So as representatives of the community, we will have things that they're proposing to us. We make decisions on whether or not that money can or will best serve the community to be spent in this way. So know too that money comes to us. If we're ever in a position where we don't need it, which we don't foresee ever being in a position where we let ourselves lapse in the way that we have, then we have the opportunity to not assess the tax any longer. But I don't foresee that happening. We need to take care of our hospital the way every other hospital in the entire state is taking care of their hospital except for us. Carrie?
Well, one of the things I didn't realize was that when you all got rid of labor and delivery, when the Auctioneer got rid of labor and delivery, children, when you bring a child into the hospital, you gotta have a secure wing. And when they got rid of labor and delivery, if you have a child that gets injured, they have to send it to another hospital. And I didn't realize that it affected the adolescents. So if you have children or grandkids, after they assess you in the emergency, they have to send you somewhere else.
That's true. And so our labor and delivery priorities, of course they're priorities. Are they on the wish list? Yes, they're on the wish list. They are necessary. However, the needs of the structure itself and preventing any loss of future services, because this money not only can be spent for matches, it can be spent towards scholarships. For youth in the area to go to nursing school with the agreement that they return here and serve here in our community as nurses and doctors. We can recruit. Go ahead, Laura.
Angela, I just want to ask, is it really, I'm for it, but because I know y'all sustained so much damage from the hurricane, does HSD2 have the money or the insurance to start making repairs now, not waiting for the village to pass? Or not pass in December? We're hoping it does, but.
We do have money. We
Okay.
have a little over $2 million that we have invested in accounts that.
So y'all starting work now for hurricane then?
Yes, but I will clarify too, I'm not speaking on behalf of Auctioneer St. Mary, I'm just telling you what I know. They are the ones footing this immediate emergency money right now. These
Okay.
invoices that are coming in, they are footing that bill. So, we're in a position where we can access repairs, water, moisture remediation, because anybody in leadership knows that there are only certain elements of the hospital that are open to the public right now.
Yeah.
And they still have to pass inspections before we can clear and get through to having inpatient services once again, because right now we do not have that.
I didn't want us waiting 3 months.
No.
While things get worse and worse and worse, waiting for a village
No,
to pass.
We had our emergency HSD meeting with several community civic leaders that attended the same Friday of the storm.
Okay.
So it's already happening.
Okay.
And auctioneers footing the bill until dust settles and we figure out what kind of federal state money we have access to help with this, and also the millage.
Okay.
So nothing is waiting. There's not going to be a continued decline of a situation while we just sit and have water sit in a structure. No, water remediation started the very next day. Yeah, you're welcome. Great question. So again, I want you guys to move forward, but we are always open to questions. Our meetings are on the first Wednesday of every month here in this room. You have this to take home, contact information on the back, website to take a look at. I'm sure I'll be seeing all of you or some of you soon, either myself or another member of our HSD number 2 board. The election's on December 7th, and please reach out if you would like to have us come speak to your organization. We'd really appreciate that. And also, I am a communications person. That is my jam. I have a degree in public relations and advertising, so marketing, talking, getting the message out, proper branding, helping people to really understand and really launch an informational campaign so people can make the best decision is very high priority for myself personally, but for the entire HSD. And we've hired a year ago. We started this campaign a year ago, and we hired the help of one of the best communication teams in the state who specifically works on hospital millages. So all of this is coming together, it's launching now, and we wanted to make you guys aware of it as soon as possible so that you're on the front end and you can go out and help disperse information.
Awesome. Okay, all right, moving right along, thank you so much, and please reach out with your organization. It's really important that we all get together.
Scoot just so you'll get set for the next round. Okay. Thank you
All right.
guys very much.
And I know this, Mr. Brocato also has a meeting, and we appreciate him being part of his meeting here with CPR up here. So,
What do you want me to discuss? I guess first I'll start with, are there any questions about the hurricane? From the levee district aspect. I can tell you, we closed up everything in the system. For us as a levee district, this particular storm is extremely challenging because anything west of the Atchafalaya, it's an easy answer. Yeah, we're closing everything up. Anything east of the Atchafalaya, easy answer. No, we're not closing it because you get the northern winds, you want the water to get out. This one was a direct hit, so we have no choice. You know, when you look at that track of the storm, it's not just that one line, it's everything in between that we have to be concerned about, because it's either gonna go this way, that way, or somewhere in between. So at the end of the day, we closed everything up. We did have some problems because it was an exorbitant amount of rain. A couple homes flooded in the Centerville area that we were not aware of the elevation of those. Now we are obviously aware, so in the future we can try to fight those things off. But one thing we did, well, and I know Mayor Duval knows this, every storm's different, and you learn something new from every storm. And at this point, we are already gathering data, like hard data, and making sure that this doesn't happen. So, okay.
How did the levee not being closed on Lakeside yet? Did that have any effect on anything?
While it did,
That water didn't come in?
It did come in, yes, but that wasn't the reason for
Well, no, just-
flooding.
No, I'm just saying.
It added to the problem.
Is
You
that
know,
something-
It irritated the problem in Lakeside, but that wasn't. Now, I can report that while that was a terrible thing that happened in Morgan City and Lakeside specifically, I think it changed the minds of some of the landowners. So we're moving and trying to move fast on what we're gonna do on the lakefront.
And one more
Go
question,
ahead.
I'm sorry.
No.
Like rainfall, all those things. And I know with studying what happened, we do have specifically how much rainfall was in Morgan City. So where would that information be? Because it's not being reported, officially,
So
NOAA, or you know what I'm saying?
National Weather Service sent us their, I guess it's a rainfall map.
Where do they have that
I don't know.
located here?
I had to ask for it. Most of the areas in St. Mary, all were in the 6 to 8 inches.
I know Patterson has, I think.
For 2 days in Berwick, we had 14 inches.
Okay.
That was 7 one day and I think 7 the next,
Oh, that's fine.
it was 14. It was
Right.
8
Here?
8 and
Give me
6. but-
five.
Yeah,
but
just
14 inches,
official kind
which is the most
of.
we've ever
Yeah.
had.
Because you couldn't find that information on the news because they didn't report.
Well,
Our area.
The locks in Morgan City were the only ones that really had an accurate check.
So it's the locks,
They
okay.
maintain that as part of their daily thing.
Okay.
The locks keeps the daily 24-hour rain gauge.
Okay, that's great news.
You said 14 inches
14.
at the Berwick Lock?
Well, no, Berwick locks were closed, so we couldn't get a reading on Wednesday. We got it from Morgan City.
Oh,
You know, and I mean, we're talking about a mile, so
Right.
no doubt in my mind, we got, I don't think we got more than that. I think we probably got 14.
Well, and one of the issues that we're running into right now is lack of information.
Yeah.
The levee district has a weather station on Bayou Chene as well as Bayou Teche, so we got one on each end of the parish. The weather stations are garbage. I don't trust them. So what we're doing is, I'm talking right now to some folks, we're looking to upgrade to more of a NOAA, a National Weather Service type weather station at each of our structures. as well as I've been speaking to the port about putting a weather station here. I think they just got a grant for that. They still have to work through all the processes, but we'll have a weather station here. I've spoken to David Narcan. They're looking at putting water elevation gauges at the Port of West St. Mary, and I'm going to try to convince him to put a weather station, because it all goes together. A weather station down there. I don't know what the courthouse has, but that would be another location.
There's a radio, there's a weather station on top.
So, but where's that information at? I guess.
I don't think anybody's
Wow.
collecting it.
See,
That's the thing.
this is all resilient, this is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is it.
And look, so post-storm, was it Thursday? So storm was Wednesday. Thursday, we had surveyors in Lakeside. We had surveyors all over Morgan City. We had surveyors in Centerville. We had surveyors on the far west end of the parish, going in and taking water level elevations, slab elevations, all of those things, because we need that data. For instance, I think there were 2 houses in Centerville that flooded. Their slab elevations were 3.0 and 3.2. We didn't know that. The lowest slab elevations we had were 4.07. So the information that we had based off of past flooding was 4 feet. So we knew, based on that, we could not let the water inside of Bayou Teche get to 4 feet. So when it started hitting that 3 and that 3.2 and the weather calmed, we were out and we were opening things and calling the Corps to open things to try to get the water out of that basin. Again, fully unaware of the 3.2s.
Well, and the house you're talking about in Centerville flood every time, that's from rainwater.
That's
That's
different.
the rainwater.
That was the first ones I thought of.
Right,
It's different houses that we had never heard, and obviously this has happened there before, because the elevations we had were in Eastwood, right there by the courthouse. That was the 4-foot elevation. Those houses have flooded before. So these 3s and 3.2s, we have absolutely no idea about.
I got a question. So what do you think, and maybe you can answer this question now, what do you think was different about this event versus any in the past? Because growing up across the tracks, you never seen water like that. I've been through Andrew. I've been through plenty of storms, but for the water to elevate that high and start going to people's homes, like what was different?
On where at? On Bayou
South
Teche?
of the track.
Railroad.
No, Market City, south of the track, back by the Catholic Church, that area. Like what was different? What caused?
I
If
can
you
give
can,
you,
sir.
I can give you a theory, because, and I'm gonna say this, so for the Bayou Teche structure, which covers Sheraton Canal to Wax Lake Outlet, we did a rain model before, once it was built, so we needed to make sure that we didn't need a pump station on it. That model told us that 10.3 inches of rain in a 1-hour period would give us a 1-foot rise in the bayou. Based on that, we knew we had enough storage in that area. I mean, it's a huge area. Along with the fact that we make sure we close at a low water level. So when we close the entire system up, it's as low as humanly possible. In this particular one, it was closed at a 0.5 feet. It rose to a 3.4 feet. If you go off of the model and you do the math on it, it's like it would have been like 26 inches of rain based on the model. We know that's not the case.
How is that the case? How you know that's not the case? You believe we only got 10 inches of rain?
Everything National Weather Service gave us was saying.
Where are they getting their reports from? They
From their radars.
They don't
From
have
their
nothing here. They have
radar.
no gauges here.
I know. And that's what we're trying to figure
Your
out.
model right there says we got 24 inches of rain. What, you gonna trust a model or you gonna trust a radar?
That's what we're trying to
I mean,
figure out.
you cannot.
Now, I'll tell you this, my rain
I got
gauge,
gauges in town that show 31 inches.
my rain gauge at Bayou Teche told me 3.5 inches. Obviously.
I mean, 6 inches of rain. March 17th, we got 7 inches of rain in 4.5 hours. And we had 3 pumps getting repaired. And I was literally at the station praying that the rain would stop. And not gotten no one report. And I got pictures of the rain gauge over 6 inches in 3.5 hours.
So Charlie,
Not one problem.
And right now, honestly, my only theory based off of that is saturation levels. We had the huge amounts of rain the week before.
But saturation doesn't play a factor into that. If
Because it's all runoff.
It is, but if you're dry and you got, 18 inches of water in a man's business, but we only got 6 inches of rain, that's physically impossible.
But a very, very nice thing about this is sometime we're gonna need a breakout session, so it sounds like the
This
rain, and where we
This is
measure.
biblical rain we had.
And that's-
Your model says 24 inches.
It's
There's
usually,
no- I mean,
it's usually about markets and who's scheduling what.
Think of the
It
weather, I've
sounds
been
like
talking
we
to
need a
you,
breakout.
we're trying to get a weather station at the legit, real weather station on Young's Road.
That's what we're talking- yeah, that's-
Young's Fund and I can meet next week to put it there. It's
That's
pretty
what
much
we
a done
need.
deal. It's
See, and what y'all are discussing right now, I mean, that's what we're talking about. Like, we've got to find out what happened. We don't know because we don't have the accurate.
the information.
Right, so that's where we need
I
the,
got
yeah.
a few people with just
Right.
little,
Right.
$3,000 weather gauges in their backyard.
Right, I have one in
Some
my
of them work,
backyard,
some of them
but-
don't. But I mean, I looked at a lot of them and all of them was, it was
What were they?
crazy, right?
Because I have basically what I was
But-
told.
but-
It's not for
$500.
today.
but we can't have that discussion day. That's why
Yeah,
y'all have to be at the meetings with the resilience lab.
My theory
can't-
is saturation. That's strictly a theory. My own personal, because I can't say he's wrong. I can't say Noah's wrong or U.S. National Weather Service is wrong either. But there are two different extremes. So what happened?
We gotta get it done.
And that's what we're
wait,
trying to figure out.
and this,
I asked that
what,
question is because, for whatever reason,
They
I'm usually
flooded.
bombarded with these questions.
right.
Right.
I got a bunch of pictures and stuff, people panicking.
Yeah,
obviously,
like what happened?
What happened? And I'm usually the go-to person for whatever reason to say explain why this happened.
Right.
So right now, I have nothing
No,
to take back
and-
to the.
Until we get hard answers on rain, which we may never get.
You would never get hard answers on anything.
So was it a case where the pumps couldn't handle the amount of rain? Like what?
Hey.
what
No, wait, we can't go there today.
I'll say this.
Okay.
It was 31 inches of rain. There's not a pump system in the world that can
Yeah,
handle that.
right.
Yeah, we can't do that
You cannot
today.
build a system to handle that type of weather.
There's always Monday morning quarterbacks. I don't think there's a Monday morning quarterback to say what we could have did differently.
Right.
There is no answer. I mean, this was a.
Right, and at the, right.
I mean, it was.
Each and every one of you.
But with respect to y'all time, let's move forward.
Well, right, but at the beginning, that's what we talked about too, Charlie. We're not here to say this is what we should have done. This is what we need to look at
No, and that's the
to
thing.
go
At this
forward.
point, it's
Yeah.
done.
But
So what we gotta do is learn and move forward because
But we need help because
We don't.
what you're saying as far as like, we don't know how much rainfall, we don't know those things.
Obviously, everybody thinks pumps wouldn't work and everything like that.
Yeah, that's the
What
narrative.
happened to as soon as it
No.
stopped raining, what happened to the water? Fast. The pumps was not working, the water wouldn't.
Right.
You know,
Right.
And there was no way we could, y'all lived it, there's no way I could get somebody, if a pump wasn't working, we definitely couldn't get them there to fix it during the storm, so that we didn't turn them on after.
no.
Right.
That was one of the
I mean,
problems.
there was no way to move people around.
That was one of the problems we ran into was
Process.
But we will.
it was probably 7:30, 8 o'clock as we were watching the water levels, and I'm speaking about the Bayou Teche on the west end, but we're watching those water levels climbing. I'm going, I gotta get out, I gotta get to this gate and this gate to get these things open. And the wind wouldn't stop. It just would not quit. And I even
Okay.
called Tim because I had no internet and my house cell service was terrible. I called Tim and said, did it stop? Because I need to leave now. And so, yeah.
The nice thing is,
Getting out in that, it was not safe.
Mr. Brocato has lived it, I guess, minute by minute, and you've now taken Mr. Woodrow's and Mr. Robinson's.
I'm sorry, okay, let me go quick.
No, that's good.
'Cause I actually
They're
have
not
people waiting on
here,
me.
so you're right on time, so.
I just want to touch real quick on the stuff we're doing with the schools. I don't think I've given enough since May. So
July,
May, we
July.
haven't, we've had a number of meetings over the past 3 months, whatever it's been. U.S. Fish and Wildlife, Sea Grant, 4-H, LSU Ag, St. Mary Soil and Water Conservation District, I think is what they are. So our plan moving forward right now is we figured out that 4-H was going to be the best avenue, so we didn't have to recreate the wheel for these school systems. But they're going to do it as 4-H project groups to be able to do the projects that we want to do. So we got 5 things that we're planning on doing. Well, it's actually just 3, but it's like 5 days. The first thing we're going to do is U.S. Fish and Wildlife has their refuge in, I guess, Garden City area. He's got a bunch of stuff he wants to do out there as far as plantings, cleanup, things like that. So we're going to do a day of that, but before the day of that, they're going to have an educational day with Sea Grant, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, where they bring the kids in, kind of go over what they're going to do on these locations and what they're doing to help. So that's one event. The second is the marsh grass planting, which I am sad to say we did an aerial reconnaissance over the levee system earlier in the week. And I was down there, so I said, hey, fly over that grass area. And I don't think anything survived. Now, I was, 1,000 feet in the air. Couldn't really tell, but it didn't look like the plantings we did last year made it. So we'll do a day of education on the marsh plantings, which the teacher said was fantastic when we had it. And then a day of marsh planting. And then the other thing we're looking at doing is taking them to Center for River Studies in Baton Rouge, which is the scale model of the Mississippi River. Amazing place. That motto is just amazing, even just to look at.
And we don't have anybody from the school system here, except we do Jerry Burns here from Central Catholic, so I don't know if later, maybe.
Yes, we're kind of doing a test thing with it right now with Morgan City and Patterson to see how it goes. I think it's going to go well. It's going slow. It's kind of, I keep sending out emails saying, hey, let's get on this. We're a month in or 2 months into school. So we're just going to keep pushing.
For the 4-H programs at those 2 schools?
Yes. Now, I will offer to you if y'all are interested. We haven't started yet, so if you have 4-H,
Yes, great.
reach out and I could stick y'all in the group and why not?
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
That's it.
Thanks.
All right, we would really like to, Mr. Woodrow, he's tied up in meetings, Mr. Robinson is going to be getting very involved soon. So Main Street, we're going to go over to Vanessa right now. Is there anything from Main Street that you want to share out to the group?
We have our road table dinner next weekend on Saturday. We're just going to showcase our local shrimpers. It's our spin on farm to table. So if y'all haven't got your tickets yet, they're on sale until Sunday.
Very, very good.
Vanessa, quick question. Is that it? Are you finished?
Yes.
Okay, I want to ask you, I know Colleen's not here. I know y'all had a meeting, right? Did y'all have, I thought that, or maybe it was,
They were
Cajun
supposed to
Coast?
organize.
you bet. Okay, y'all had the
We
meeting.
had one with Cajun Coast, but it was really what we talked about at that meeting was Christmas.
Okay, okay. All right.
Anything from Berwick downtown, maybe Mr. Duval, you can go ahead. Is anything from Berwick, either downtown or anywhere, or anything that you want to report? You don't have to, but if there's something you want to share with the group. go
Well,
ahead.
right now, actively, we've got, we opened the bids on the Country Club Estates drainage grant, and we've awarded that. Work's supposed to start, I think the company's trying to set up now to start work on that. We're going to put larger drain pipes under the ground, leave the ones that are existing there in the ground to help us. And it should alleviate the flooding we've had in Country Club Estates. It's an older subdivision, well, I say older. Actually, it was built in 1970, and it wasn't in the city limits at that time, it was in the parish. And they put 12-inch drain pipes underground. That's just not adequate. We didn't know that until we had a water study done, and they discovered that 12-inch lines. So we're correcting it. We got a grant for 6th Street to pave by the pond, and still waiting on the environmental study to be they're taking their time with that. Our gas grant, which was $4.5 million that we were awarded, similar to the one that Morgan City got the year before, which will increase the size of our gas line. We run into some issues during the storm of people not being able to operate their generator. All told, probably about 12 generators were not able to operate, didn't have enough gas. So we entered into an agreement with Patterson, and we're going to become a customer of Patterson for 1 meter. And we're going to get gas from them to feed into our end of our line. It's going to work out perfect. That's the first time it's been done in Louisiana. And Louisiana Municipal Gas is supervising it. So we feel good that that's going to help. It's going to help alleviate our problem.
It's nice to work across communities.
I really don't have anything on
The lighthouse.
the Lighthouse Festival's coming up now. That crew that's working on that has really been active, busy. But we got some of the best bands around, and you want to listen to some good bands or to Lighthouse Festival. The Lighthouse itself, we don't have any word on that. We checked with Berry Brothers, who was going to go get it, and everything seemed like we take a step forward and we get two back. So they're still in a hole, and don't know when they're going to be able to go. I know we only have till 2025. My name is on that thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you've got the-
That bothers me
The
every night.
lens,
And
the
then
lens
it's
is
out.
right in your city hall, right?
It's like a baby to me. I mean, I want to go get it and bring it here and protect it. Anyway,
Okay.
All right, Morgan City, I see Mr. Solar stepped out. Anything, Mr. Campbell?
I'll defer to Charlie.
Okay, he's not. Could we, from Morgan City, could we put Greig in here right at this point? From Morgan City, because she's not on there.
I'll put her.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. All right, anything?
There's a lot that went on in town. I'm pretty sure that 99% of the power has been restored. There are a few areas that they're still working that have some issues, and there may be some temporary power outages here and there, but for the most part of the crews have left, and there's some more of the other crews that were here will be leaving shortly. They were working a water break in town, but that's going good on Young's Road and all. So it's coming together. There's trucks out there picking up debris. You'll see the big black trucks running around with the trailers with them and all, and they're picking up debris. It's a slow process, and there's a lot of it. And they're bringing it behind the sewage plant back there. They're gonna stack it up and we're gonna shred it all and go from there with it. So.
I think they're moving relatively quickly though.
Yeah, they are.
It seems to be disappearing fast,
Yeah.
considering.
It's good.
No, on Morgan City, we'll go ahead to Morgan City Downtown Historical District. Chairman?
Hi, I'm doing a pop-up museum using 35 banners like these that are on the wall here, all depicting living along the Atchafalaya River. And it's a lot of aspects, ferries, Bonnie and Clyde, the mosquito fleet, the airplane flying over the river in 1914. It's interesting stuff. I'm soliciting field trips from classes from different schools. I've sent it out to all parish. I've got a couple of them booked. A little coloring book to give out to kids who come. You can listen to it by pointing your phone to the QR code, and the tour is there. We'll be open the month of October, 6 days a week, at the Everett Street Gallery downtown. Thank you.
It's amazing information, too.
Mr. Bolian, AIC.
Thank you very much. Basically, what I got to say is it involves around communication, which you all have spoken about, what we try to do. We're working very hard to develop a much stronger relationship with our friends from the East, and with SCIA and BIG and SLEC and AIC. I was there the other day, Chamber, and it's working. We need to develop and have a stronger relationship with them. And I voiced some of my opinions of how we felt about them in the past, and they voiced them, and we're working closer and closer together. And a lot of that is Senator Allain's area over there too. It's very, very important. that we get along with everybody. And I think, and they want to, and I think we will do it. I've got to say that our relationship with Senator Allain and also with Representative St. Blanc is excellent. And that's one thing we're about. We wanted to always develop a relationship with elected officials, so when people from the community or industry ask, we can say, hey, we can call those people. We'll find somebody that you can talk to in Baton Rouge or even in Washington, D.C. That's a goal we're working towards. And to be able to pick up the phone and talk to Laura and the senator and Benny is great, okay? It's wonderful to have that relationship. Also with the Mayor Berwick. And remember, we're St. Mary Parish, so we're working for the whole parish. There's a slight chance that, we heard it the other day, and maybe I'm a little premature, but I know that Select is going to try to have their meeting next year in Franklin. That would be a big event, great event, and that just shows how close we can get together with these people. We're not leaving out the West. I'm not doing that. We want to continue to develop it with anybody, though. We want to just be friendlier with people, I guess. And I know one example would be, I've gotten closer to Representative Orgeron. He's on some powerful commissions too, and Benny got me on hydrogen task force. I'm not exactly on the committee, but I'm going to make a presentation to them. So I go to all the meetings. So it's important that we're doing some things in the area of communication, and that's what we're all about. Okay, the industrial group is about communication. So we thank you all and thank everybody that's helped us.
Thank you for having the meetings broadcast online, because you've had the hospital civil service district present, and it was very good that the whole community got to see it, present watching.
And we're trying to get some very, and I did miss, our next speaker is this, I think is pretty important gentleman, is the Speaker of the House, Philip DeVilliers will be there. So to get these kind of people in Morgan City, I think is very good. And a lot of it's a result of our, Senator Allain and Ben has done these things for us. So, and anybody that wants to come, just give me a call. We take guests. Thank you.
Thank you. I keep St. Mary beautiful.
Yes. On August 24th, which was a week before the Petroleum Festival, we had cleaned up in partnership with Vanessa, City of Morgan City. And it's amazing to me every time we have cleaned up that we pick up so much trash. And it's very important that we have a clean city. Our main focus right now is a clean and beautiful city. But let me tell you, it's hard. It really is hard to try to keep the city clean. It was amazing to me that we had a trailing road up here in a small area of Morgan City. Our next, we've gathered, I put in grants for 30 trash receptacles, and you may see them all around Morgan City. I'm going to put in another grant in November to get 10 more. So anyone who desires a trash receptacle in their area, just let me know, or Vanessa. We've worked with Berwick, but I'm told that Berwick, and it is a clean city, you have someone already dedicated to pick up the trash. Congratulations, you're doing a great job. Morgan City, we're still trying to compete, so to speak. I don't know when the next trash pickup will be. I can only tell you that around my subdivision, which is Corbin, I try to get out on a weekly basis to pick up. But our neighborhood is pretty clean, except we have identified a new area in Morgan City that is a problem area. I'll let you know that a partner of mine, Michael Allen, and I had gone out on the trash pickup underneath the bridge behind Fillmore. We picked up at least 10 bags of litter. I don't know if it's coming from the bridge, people throwing things from the bridge, or the neighborhood. because there were things out there that should not have come from a car moving vehicle. So if, we're trying to keep this area clean, and especially on these bridges where people can look down and see all the litter. So if you're passing in any area of Morgan City and you see a lot of litter, please let me or Vanessa know about it. Thank you.
I just got a couple of things to add.
Oh yeah, that's my partner also, Mike Price.
So, this is one of these things that we do a lot of. We have a problem, and what do? We don't fix the problem, put a Band-Aid on. Our ultimate goal would be to pick up no trash. But we can't, and so we need to continue with the education process that we do. I carry a 5-gallon bucket and a grabber in my truck. Anybody wants one, let me know. I'll hook you up. I stop in the middle of the road and pick trash up. The traffic waits. So it's all about, if people see you out around picking trash up, they see the place starting to become a little bit cleaner, it may take a little bit. It's just, I think we ought to be able to have paint guns so we can shoot a car with a red paintball and see them throwing trash up in the road.
Why don't we go ahead and go into Mr. Charlie, since you and Mr. Allen are here. Anything from Mr. Charlie?
Well, we're, back in May, the National Historic Landmark Committee met and approved our nomination for the Mr. Charlie to National Historic Landmark. It is now going to the National Park Service Advisory Board, which has not scheduled a meeting yet for this fall and winter. So we're waiting to see when they're gonna schedule that meeting so they can approve it and the Secretary of Interior can sign off on it, which they just had another committee meeting last week. So now they'll have everything that was nominated in the spring meeting and the fall meeting to cover before the election. And so we're waiting and hopefully we'll have that done. The other thing, we're working on deck repairs and LED lights and air conditioner systems and just working on the rig. We had some steel plate donated, so we'll be doing some deck repairs with that. And we're also working on a program to be able to do free tours for any Louisiana student. So kindergarten through high school, college, any Louisiana student is free tour. Now, for the schools themselves, we'd like to concentrate on the ones that are doing Louisiana history. So that's usually 4th grade, 8th grade, and then some of the high school classes that are covering anything history or industrial, economics, whatever. So we're sending out information to all the parishes around us that are close enough that they can bus the kids in for field trips. So, thank you.
Very good. Thank you. We look forward to that designation. That's a big event. Chamber?
I have some information to pass out. I'll pass it this way if y'all could just pass it around. The Small Business Administration has taken out assistance at our office, and they opened actually yesterday, and they are taking people, they're offering loans, disaster recovery loans for businesses and homeowners and renters. So it's more than just small businesses that they're willing to help. And there's also a loan called the injury recovery, which is when a business possibly lost profit because they were closed during a storm, didn't have electricity, that kind of thing. They can apply for this loan to help make up that cost to pay their employees or what have you from that loss. The loans are relatively lower interest rate, and there is a 12-month no interest and 12-month delayed payment. So it is a lot that they're offering. We've had a few people come into the office already to meet with them. There's information, of course, on the pages that I've passed out on all the details that are there. And if you're interested or know somebody who's interested in possibly meeting with them, just send them our way. They're here to service all of St. Mary Parish through our office. But they do have 2 rooms set up in our office. They'll be open on Saturdays as well for part of the day. And then the last page that you'll get is the next week events that are happening with the chamber.
Awesome. Thank you for bringing those handouts. targeting what's going on with the chamber. So thank you. Thank you for opening your building for the recovery effort. And now Carrie with Cajun Coast.
So, I just did an overview. We did phone calls to all the attractions, and primarily the only one that sustained the most damage was Lincoln Park. They, it's pretty obvious, they have a lot of trees, and they have electrical and cable and all kinds of issues. So anyway, that's probably the biggest attraction that sustained. Oh, God, my ears off. I hate turning my back to people. So that's the biggest thing. We just celebrated the Shrimp and Petroleum Festival. Next year, they're celebrating the 90th festival. So we're gonna try to work with Caroline, who is with the Atchafalaya National Heritage Area, to do something kind of to celebrate that 90th anniversary on that. So I told Haley and I told Lou and Charlie to brainstorm. I don't know what that would look like, but we certainly need to do something to honor that. We did a Strictly Delicious giveaway online, and we had, the guy was Steve Barra of New Iberia. We gave him ball shrimp. We gave them shrimp, they can make their own shrimp ball, 2 VIP passes to the festival, a hotel room, and so anyway, that was really nice. Very appreciative. We had 5,000 visits to the website and 400 entries into it. We did a Strictly Delicious restaurant promotion, and Atchafalaya Cafe was the winner on that. They had to serve Louisiana seafood, and it was to honor the Shrimp and Petroleum Festival. The Office of Tourism, the National Gumbo Day is October 12th. So they're making a big push towards that. 2025 is all gonna be about selling food. So, if you want to do something tourism related, add the shrimp component. I know Shrimp and Petroleum Festival, that would be great too, since they're celebrating food next year. And some of you may have seen the Castellanos video that the state did for us. They did a great job. They also they wanted styrofoam food. So it had to be restaurants that serve styrofoam food. So it's Castellanos, we nominated, Stazioni Deli, Rita Mays, but we never could find the guy who was in charge. They closed, and we nominated several, but those were, and Pick a Pack in Vista. Of course, the Chamber's celebrating Vernon Tootie Norwood. They were supposed to have a bass tournament, but that got canceled in Bell River by Drawrons. There's a small town mayors conference coming October 3rd. I don't know, Mayor, if you were part of that. It's going to be at the Cypress Bayou Casino. Mayor Vappy was very instrumental in that. Because he said sometimes they go to these conferences and they don't sort of relate to what they have to say on a smaller level. So. And then they have a bunch of stuff going on. Lots of events in the fall. A Hot Rod Fest in Franklin exhibit, the Boat to Table, Harvest Moon Fest, the Lighthouse Festival. We all got together, all the municipalities and the chamber we're gonna do a Christmas promotion. Hopefully to get people to think about shopping locally. But with this little hurricane, it's kind of pushed things back, but hopefully we'll get back online. We're also participating in the St. Francisville Food and Wine Festival. That's going to be a partnership between us and Cypress Bayou Casino on that. We're also partnering with SLCC, the Chamber, the Divers Monument, Mr. Charlie on the Workboat Show. That's going to be in New Orleans. Let's see what else we're doing. We have a new salesperson, and she's been trying to meet everybody, if you haven't met her. RV rallies, we had 500 people last month that visited the Welcome Center. Cruising Cajuns will be in October at Kemper Williams Park. These are all the articles that we were able to collect on, that were printed. We're also working on, Robert, we lost all the big fishing tournaments because of property rights. It's not because because people own so much land. It's because they're not posted. So if I'm a professional fisherman and I end up accidentally fishing on private property, I could be kicked out of the association and I could lose my ability to, provide for my family. That's the big issue. So we're trying to figure out a way with technology. Robert had recommended this app called HuntX that he uses, but then Williams Incorporated called me and said it doesn't work. So I'm looking into a couple of other apps that were recommended to us on that, so we could figure that out. We could try to propose. They want to come back. Bassmaster and Major League Fishing, they want to come back. They loved fishing here. But it's the property rights issue, and it's the posting. It's not that we have land. It's the posting of where private land exists. And we recently did some new Cajun Coast videos, so you may see them online.
Here,
Yes,
a
ma'am.
couple things on the calendar of events. Our murder mystery dinner, October 19th.
Okay.
And Spirit Morgan City Christmas Festival.
Yes, on the other calendar, it should be on there. I was running out of space.
Okay, quick question.
It's on the one
on the
that,
okay.
yeah.
How's the boardwalk coming along?
I don't know, they haven't contacted
I mean, do
us.
you have to contact them or like, because I know you said something about a design, you didn't,
Usually,
Yeah.
is it an appropriations?
yeah, we showed it to you last meeting. Remember the specific amount, right?
And we've got a slide.
Yeah.
It's got a total by it, and it's got it mapped out.
Okay.
It's in the time, it's in the
Yeah.
CPRA budget.
It's in the CPRA budget, okay. Because the last time we were allocated the funds, but when we went to get them, they didn't have it. And I wish the.
That's right.
Look, right here.
It's
Okay,
number 9.
okay. All right, I will
It's
contact
a-
CPRA. I could have contacted that guy that was
It's a
here.
state-only project.
Yeah, we were gonna have to work closely with the levee district on that, to get that, because
The money's there,
we'll have to,
$500,000.
it's, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but to get the equipment, in the swamp is gonna be a challenge. So we'll have to work with the levee district to put something, to open the levee, get across, and get the equipment in there.
Okay.
Carrie, how many people did you say visited the Cajun Coast?
Last month, 500,
500 last month
total of 5,000, it's on that,
for the year.
yeah, year to date.
All right.
Thanks,
The
Carol.
day after Easter, we had over 100 people that stopped in the office.
One thing to elaborate on Beth and Carrie's deal is that next Wednesday, we're gonna have our local Olympian here, Vernon Tootie Norwood, and it's gonna be a meet and greet at the auditorium. It'll start around 5:30, 6 o'clock, and, it'd be a good chance to bring kids and everybody else to come out and meet him and everything. He is a historian himself, coming in from Katrina and all, and that'll all be talked about and everything else, so. Next Wednesday, 5:30, 6 o'clock, come by the auditorium if y'all can. And if anybody wants to sponsor a table, then they can let me know.
Yeah, it is a free event, but we do have
Yes,
registration
yeah.
set up
We
through
did
our
on the red
office. The point of registering is to guarantee a plate. They're planning for only so many plates, so if people are not registered and look at that number, we haven't decided to be wristband the tickets yet, but the people who did not register will be sent upstairs, and who did register will get food and be downstairs.
Great. Thank you.
Vernon Norwood celebration. All right. Very quickly, after we met last, Dr. Roberts did appear at the chamber luncheon. He did present. He is awaiting the draft environmental impact statement and the draft management plan release. And we're anticipating a facility here that will tell the Atchafalaya story. And our point of contact is Lone Pond, and the state commissioner was Wilson to push it into the parish. Atchafalaya Pier is included in the state's coastal master plan 2025. We showed that briefly last month. We were very excited and proud about that. And Kelly and her group, which has always been under St. Mary Excel's umbrella, is now totally separate. People who want to contribute to the Atchafalaya Pier now have a 501c3 to contribute to. And she's following the model that's used in all the other coastal states. So we're very proud. She worked very hard to get that 501c3 up in operation. Mike Brocato touched on this. I was going to go here because I didn't miss that slide. He worked very hard this summer to make all those connections with 4-H and C-Bank and all the other entities. One of the things that we've had on our list was our exploration of the Coastal Maritime High School, the coastal science. This is the preparation that we engaged in by making site visits to places and exploring our residential coastal science high school. That idea is still going around. We are continuing to work on that. We gathered a ton of information. I think we met with Senator Allain at his office. He said they'll look like teachers. I can tell from the binder that y'all are keeping. Y'all are fitting the mold. Since that time we went up and we met with the new executive director of CPRA. His name is Glenn Leday. Glenn Leday's dad was a colleague of most people who were in the education business. His dad was a principal at Assumption High School. He looks just like his dad. We immediately had connection because we know him on a personal level. We met with him, and while we were up there, Brian and Scott happened to be there, so we actually took a picture with the party. But we have been out. That all happened before Hurricane Katrina. The model that we're setting up does not compete with our public and parochial school. It complements it. It's set up not as a charter school, it's set up as a school that has a special niche that is able to draw from across the state. So when we talk about out-migration, this would be a strategy with an economic impact of over $100 million across 10 years because Evan Woodrow calculated it to bring people into our area. It's win-win because when we bring people in, they have to put their kids into schools. And we have lots of good schools in our area. This is focused on grades 10, 11, and 12, just like the school in Natchitoches. It would be a similar school setup for that. Jerry knows exactly
So
what.
like Natchitoches, because I had a lot of questions in my head. I mean, where are y'all looking at houses and do y'all have already?
I would say Jerry, this is your first time coming.
Right.
And there are a few other people here who haven't been here before, like the previous meetings. And the reason I'm doing what I'm doing right now, this is not professional, walking around with this cell phone trying to take everybody. But we put everything on YouTube. We put every meeting on YouTube. We put everything is on our channel. Everything's on our website. So those questions, like,
It's been addressed already.
well, no, I'm just saying that's a good question. And for those people who don't know anything about any of this, you could go access any of that on those YouTube channels and watch the previous meeting where Stephen Swiber talked about the school in our meeting. I think I have it on the subject to get more information about it. So all of this we're all on YouTube every 4 months. It's not professional. It's just for us to record it. So we keep this all as a record so that when we go to get these grants or when the Resilience Lab, we start doing the planning, we can go back and say, we talked about this. We're being transparent. We're not hoarding information for people not to know about it. It's all out there. People just need to pay attention and research and look for it. And we just get it as much as we can out there with limited resources and whatever.
So the progression was, we started back when ULI was here, it was suggested by someone in the State Department, from the State Governor's Office, that this would be the perfect place to drive economic development. Stephen became the chairperson. Stephen now has a new job, so we've kind of subsumed that again. So we're following up, and our meetings took place right before Francine hit. So we just wanted to bring everybody up to date. It has not stopped.
Right, I mean, it started, Jerry, ULI was when Shannon School closed down, so it goes back that far. And of course, Shannon School's a wonderful hurricane resilient school. I'll just throw that out there.
And the last thing is a meeting was canceled. It was supposed to be on the Atchafalaya master plan. They're going to reschedule it. It's just for your information purposes only.
That's it.
You don't be interested.
Any questions about anything?
There'll be lots of breakout conversations. Thank you for coming today. And once again, we appreciate
Yes.
one of you, especially in your efforts in Hurricane Francine.